If you can hear a strange sound, my computer is about to explode. I'm just kidding. I'm just exporting a video and it's working overtime right now. You know how computers get. Hey, welcome to today's video. My name is Jessie. If you do not know me yet, we're doing my September wrap up, so I will be talking about all the books that I read throughout the month of September. I'm very happy to be talking about these books. I had so much fun. Stat-wise, I read 10 books. One of those was a DNF. I read 7 fantasy, 2 romance, 1 fiction. I read 4,414 pages, and my average rating was a 3.92. My first read of September was A Promise of Peridot by Kate Golden. I feel like I read this book 3 months ago. I don't know why September seems so long. September hates me every year, so that's probably why it felt long. It just didn't want to go away. I only read this book a month ago, but it feels like so much longer. This is the second book in the Sacred Stones trilogy. I read the first one last month. I love this series so far. I think it's very unique. This world is set up into different kingdoms, and each kingdom is a different stone. So we have rose, garnet, amber, onyx. I just find that really interesting, the way that everything is categorized. In the first book, we have our main character, Arwen, and she is living with her mom and her sister. Her brother is off fighting this war between onyx and amber, and they live in the amber territory. And all of a sudden, her brother comes back, and he's saying that the family needs to get up and leave, and they need to go to another territory, another kingdom. They make their way, and then Arwen realizes that she forgot the medicine for her mother back at home, and her mother really needs that medicine, so Arwen of course goes back. When she gets there are a lot of members of the Onyx Kingdom that are there, and they take her back to their kingdom. From then you get the story of her at that kingdom and finding out their secrets and more on the war, and actually getting the truth on who is the right side and who are the good people. The only thing about this series so far is that I'm not a huge fan of the writing. It's very repetitive in a lot of ways, not plot-wise, but with certain words and phrases. I just feel like I'm reading a lot of the same sentences over and over again, and once a word sticks out to me, it's hard to ignore it when it pops up again. Although the writing with the atmosphere and the world itself is really nice, I can picture myself in this world. The descriptions really take me there, and I really appreciated that. I really enjoyed this though. I'm very excited to see where this goes. The first half of this book was a little slow for me, but the second half, I was jaw-dropping every chapter. I had so much fun in the last half of this book, and I really wish that I put it in a reading vlog because I had so many physical, outwardly reactions to it, and it was just such a good time. And I'm so excited for the third book. I can't wait to see how it wraps up. I'm nervous. I don't want this to end. I want it to be a long series, but unfortunately I don't think it's going to be. That is A Promise of Peridot. I'd probably rate this like a 3.75. Next up, I read Crave by Tracy Wolff. This is the first book in the Crave series. It consists of 6 books, and this is a fantasy romance also. This is just YA. Our main character, Grace, her parents recently passed away. She was living in California, and now she has been taken to Alaska to live with her uncle. She's going to this academy. She has no idea that creatures exist, vampires, werewolves, all these fae. She has absolutely no idea that they are actually a thing. So she's just going to the school thinking that it's a normal school. She meets this dude and she kind of gets skeptical of him. He's a vampire. He's our male main character, Jackson. There's little vampire things going on with him that she's questioning, or she's just questioning why he's doing what he's doing. But obviously she doesn't know that he is a vampire, or that it's even possible that he could be one of these creatures. You just go the whole book waiting for her to find out these secrets that everybody is keeping from her. They're all treating her kind of badly, and she's just wondering why she's getting treated so differently from everybody else. It was definitely YA. There was modern day terms and like celebrity names in here, which I'm not a fan of in books, but it was still a super fun read. I was just frustrated with how long it took her to realize that these creatures exist and to get the story going from then on. It was her just pining over Jackson pretty much the whole entire time, but I still had fun with it, and I would recommend this series. I'm excited to see where this goes too, because we left off at a point where now we're getting into a deeper element of fantasy and more of a war. So I can't wait to see where it goes. But yeah, this was a little cringy, and I have a love-hate relationship with this because I enjoyed it, but I also just thought that it was not good. I don't know. I was really conflicted about this. I talked about it in one of my last videos. I think it was my last cozy chatty vlog. But yeah, so I would give this a 3 stars. Next up, I have Wayward by Amelia Hart. I've wanted to read this book so long since it came out, but I was waiting for the paperback. So I finally picked it up and I finally got to it, and I enjoyed this book so much. I was into it the whole entire time. There wasn't a single thing that I disliked about this book. You're following 3 women over the course of centuries. So our first girl, you're following her in the witch trial era in the 1600s. Our second woman you are following during World War II in 1942. Third, we have Kate, who is more modern day. She's 2019. And this story is about witches and women who are witches and their history and their connections with family. It's a triple timeline. You're getting everything from each girl, and the way that this was set up, I was so satisfied with. It's separated into 3 parts, and then in each of those parts you get the 3 different point of views, and it just goes through all of them and just keeps going through this cycle. And slowly you find out all the secrets that are coming up and how things are connected from going back and forth into these timelines. You're just following these women going through through and finding themselves and finding out what they are with their ancestry and their history with being a witch. This definitely does go darker into the witch elements, so if that's not something that you would like to read about or you can't read about those things, then definitely don't pick up this book. But if that doesn't affect you in any way, then I would highly recommend this, because it deals with all the dark parts of witchcraft, and it's not some light, fluffy, witchy, like magical read. It definitely is hitting those dark elements. I gave this 5 stars. I was just feeling it the whole entire time. I binged this and I'm so happy that I love this. Then we have Wild Eyes by Elsie Silver. This is the second book in the Rose Hill series. I wasn't a fan of the first one, but I still wanted to continue because I like Chestnut Springs by Elsie Silver. But after reading this, I don't know if she's an autobiography for me anymore. I do want to finish this series because there's only going to be 2 more. I don't know, because I didn't really like the Gold Rush series either, but I really love Chestnut Springs, so it might be hit or miss with her books for me from now on. I can't rate them highly. I feel like I'm giving both of these a 2.5. I can still read them and get through them, but they're not anything that sticks with me at all, and I do have quite a bit of issues with them. I'm sure a lot of people know what this is about already, but we have West and Skylar. Skylar is a popular country singer, and then West is working on this ranch in this small town called Rose Hill. Skylar is getting a lot of pressure from the people in her life with being famous and everything. She just wants to escape, so she ends up going to Rose Hill early and going to this recording studio to figure out what she wants to do with work and her life from now on. The first chapter, we get West meeting Skylar, and it was just not good. I hated it. Skylar was immediately just dumb, like literally so stupid, and I can't with a dumb character. She was literally trying to take a video or a picture of her with a bear. She was like, oh, I need this like just to show people that I'm doing something and I'm like in nature or whatever. And it's like, girl, you're about to get mauled by a bear. Like, what are you doing? And then Wes is all like falling for her. Why are you falling for her? I can't. I feel so judgmental, but it was just, we got off to such a bad start, and I couldn't stop thinking about it. Anyway, there's 2 kids in this. I love the kids. They were what redeemed the book for me, I think. That's all I can really say. I don't remember too much about what was in here, but I couldn't with the way that Skylar was acting in the beginning. It ruined the whole book for me. So I'm so sorry. After that, I finally read my first Stephen King novel. This is Fairy Tale. This is about a high schooler named Charlie. He hears a sound coming from this house on the hill, which everybody's scared of this house and this guy who lives there. There's a very crazy dog. This dog has chased people before, and the guy that lives there is named Howard. Charlie hears noise coming from his house the one day on his way home or whatever. He goes, and Howard has been hurt. He fell off a ladder. He goes and helps him. From then on, him and Howard grow this connection because he was like brave enough to go up to Howard in this house, and Howard's actually a really nice guy. You go through Howard and his old life, and his dog is also getting older, but his dog grows a connection with Charlie too, and Charlie just falls in love with this dog. So that's where the story kicks off, and then eventually Howard dies, which it's on the back of the book. That's not a spoiler. That's where the other part of the story kicks in. He leaves cassette tapes behind for Charlie to listen to, and Charlie then realizes that the strange shed in his backyard that has creepy noises coming from it is actually a portal to another world. So then Charlie ends up having to go into this portal, and he just experiences this new world. And I will say that with this one, I really enjoyed the first part of the book before they got into this portal and this new world. And once they were in there, it was interesting in the beginning, but there was a kind of a scene or a setting that it was pretty long. I was just getting bored with that scene. I really loved the first half of this. I love the connection between the characters. Charlie and his dad have a great development with their relationship that I absolutely loved. I recommend this. I don't think it's anything that is intimidating. It did move pretty fast for how big it is. If you want to read a Stephen King and you've been intimidated by his books or the length of them, I would recommend this one because it is pretty fast paced, and I think you can get through it faster than you think you will. This one I'll probably give a 4 stars. I did enjoy it a ton, but I just wasn't obsessed with it. I think that it was a little slower at the end, but other than that, it was really good. Alright, now we have the read that everybody has been reading. This is Heartless Hunter by Kristen Cicerelli. This follows our main characters Rune and Gideon. Rune is a witch and Gideon is a witch hunter. Where they live, witches are being purged, and Rune is trying to secretly get all these witches and save them, and she is known as the Crimson Moth. And then we have Gideon and his team and everybody else that doesn't like witches, and they think that they are bad people who are just trying to take them out and find witches wherever they are hiding and everything. It's very much a cat and mouse game of the witch and the witch hunter chasing each other down and trying to figure out who the Crimson Moth is. I had so much fun with this. I gave this one a 5 stars also. I'm really into the witchy stuff lately. I love the writing. It was very fast paced, very atmospheric. I loved our characters. There was a lot of tension between them. I cannot wait to see where the second book goes because this ended in a great spot, and I am so curious as to what is going to happen. But yeah, it was super fun, very mysterious, and I just really enjoyed my time the whole way through. There wasn't anything that I disliked about this book, so if you have not picked this up yet, please do. It's the perfect time to read this. Luckily, the second book comes out in, I think, February or early next year, so I don't have to wait long because I'm gonna pick it up as soon as it comes out. Going into our next book, this is my DNF for the month. This is A Winter's Promise by Christelle Dabos, and I feel so bad that I DNF'd this because I genuinely thought this was gonna be a series that I was really going to enjoy. It just wasn't. I was really bored with it. I got 188 pages in. I think it was like 38% of the way through. And this follows our main character, Ophelia. She's able to travel through mirrors. The premise of this is that she is getting married off to this guy that she doesn't want to be married to. From what I read from this, she's just going to where he is and meeting different people. But every time that she met a new character, I feel like it was just very repetitive. She would meet someone and then she would say like, oh, I'm getting married to this guy and I don't want to. And then it was a new character and it was the same thing. There wasn't anything that kept me wanting to read this. I don't really care for where the story is going anymore because it didn't pick up fast enough for me. But I guess later on in this book or the series, the guy that she's being married to is actually keeping secrets, or his family has a lot of secrets going on, and she's finding that out along the way, which is super interesting. But this book just, it didn't pull me in enough to make me want to continue. My last 3 books I'm going to talk about briefly. I did just do a reading vlog on these. It was my last video that I uploaded where I go more in depth on how I felt about these books. So if you want more in-depth thoughts, please go watch that video. I will link it somewhere. I'll put it like up on the top. This one is A Darker Shade of Magic by V.E. Schwab. This is the first book in the Shades of Magic trilogy, and this is following our main character Kel. There's 4 different Londons. There's red, white, gray, and black. We are able to follow parallel worlds, and Kel is known as an Antari. He's one of the last magicians where you can travel through these parallel Londons. He resides in red London. He can travel to white and gray London because black London, something happened in the past and it's been shut off. Nobody can go in or out, and they haven't been able to for like 3 centuries now. But eventually he gets this little artifact type deal and he has to return it to black London. So he's trying to figure out a way to get this artifact back there before it just destroys all of the other Londons. We're just following his adventure on that, and he meets this girl named Delilah, and she is a thief and she's going to be somebody that helps him go through his journey. I really love the characters in this. They have good background. There's a lot of mystery in here with who they are and how they came to be that I really enjoyed. I can't wait to see where this goes because I think it's going to be a really good trilogy. I've had this on my DBR for like a decade, so I'm so glad that I finally got to it because it was really good. I really enjoyed it. Probably give this like between a 4 and like a 4.5. I wasn't obsessed with it, but it was really, really good. And then I also finally read Binding 13 by Chloe Walsh. This is a YA sports romance. Our male main character Johnny plays rugby, and then we have our female main character Shannon. She has been bullied a lot in the past. She deals with a lot of stuff with her family and other students that she went to school with. She gets transferred to Tommen College just to start fresh and try to get all these people off of her back. At Tommen, she can find more of herself, and she realizes that she's now surrounded by good people. This is just her relationship with Johnny and how they came to be and how they're connecting with each other. This is very emotionally heavy with what Shannon deals with. If you haven't read this yet, definitely look up trigger warnings for this because it gets very deep. I really enjoy this. The only issue I had with this was that it seemed a bit much for a YA novel. As an adult, you don't really want to read those certain descriptions about someone who is underage. That was my only issue with this book, but I really enjoyed the characters and the friendships between them. I felt like I was back in my high school life just having fun with my friends. This feels like it could be a TV show that everybody is obsessed with and that you just watch over and over again, and it's super funny. I was laughing out loud throughout a lot of this book. I can't wait to spend more time with their characters. I'm so eager to pick up the second book. Moving on to the last book that I read this month. This is The Awakening, which is the first book in the Zodiac Academy series. This is by Caroline Peckham and Susan Valenti. It's a dual author type series. This is about our main characters. They are both twins. We have Tori and Darcy, and they have just turned 18, so they're just on their own in the world right now. After they turn 18, this professor from this world Solaria and the Zodiac Academy senses that they have powers and that their powers are coming up now. So he goes into their world and snatches them up and takes them back to the Zodiac Academy. From then, they're realizing that they are heirs to the throne because their mom and dad was the king and queen. They passed away a while ago. They're discovering that they have powers, and they're in this magic school now with a whole bunch of fae that they just had no idea was even a thing. They're very overwhelmed right now. They're excited about it, but it's also obviously a lot to take in at the moment. And everybody that they encounter is a jerk, pretty much. So now they're just thrown into this world and they're like, okay, I have no idea that magic even existed, so why is everybody being mean to me? But I really enjoyed this. This was super, super fun. Definitely was more of an unserious read, but I think as the series continues, it's gonna be a lot emotionally and we're gonna have our heart broken and put back together again. I really enjoyed this, and I would highly recommend this for the fall time if you have not started this series yet. And there's so many secrets too that I think we're gonna get into, and I cannot wait. I binged this in one day and I want to pick up the second book immediately. I would probably rate this like a 4 or a 4.25. Alrighty guys, that is every book that I read throughout the month of September. I hope you guys enjoyed hearing me yap about all these, and I had a great time. I feel like I started a lot of series this month, or I continued quite a bit. I have a lot of fun for me in the future, but my wrist is literally about to break. So I'm gonna go. I could just set these down. Actually, that would be a smart idea for me to do because you can literally see them right here. I love being stupid. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what your favorite read of September was. I'm trying to pick my favorite. I don't know if it was Heartless Hunter or Wayward. I feel like Heartless Hunter was definitely my favorite for September. That is that. Thank you so much for watching once again. I will see you in my next video, whatever that may be. I hope you have a great day and a great night wherever you are. And I will see you later. Bye.